How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and I am going to be doing a little bit of a review and an analysis of a couple of things that I got from a fellow Canadian black metal artist called Mike Ross. He contacted me via my Black Metal Rebellion page, I believe, if I can remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it's the page on Facebook. And he asked me if he could send me some stuff of his and for me to listen. So I said, sure, why the hell not? I'm always up to hear what you guys out there are making, especially if it's like thrash or black metal or slam related. That's definitely something I'm very interested in hearing from my peers in the metal community. So he sent me two things. One, Unrest World of Lies, that I believe was in 2016, and another project called Ordo Ab Chao, Pain and Piss. That title is great. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about Unrest World of Lies, and I will show you what the inside and everything looks like. Here we go. That's the disc there, kind of a blurry shot of a snowy forest, and inside we've got the track listings and contact information, etc. So this was, I got 34 out of 40 by the way. He also, if you don't know, Mike Ross is also a YouTuber himself. He's got some videos. Check out King of Swords on YouTube. He has a lot of vertical videos, which is either your thing or it's not. I always feel that videos in this format, being horizontal, is the best, but if you don't really give a shit, then, you know, and you don't have much time, horizontal, I guess, is fine, but the landscape format, I find, is always the best. Anyways, Unrest World of Lies is an atmospheric, lo-fi black metal release, and it is, for all accounts, good. I just found that it lacked any sort of variety or kind of dichotomy in the riffs and tones and everything. Well, what you mostly get with this, besides having to turn the volume up really, really high, because whatever he used to record this, it didn't turn out very loud. Like the decibels are pretty low, and I had to crank what I had up pretty high to hear it. So I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but it was a very quiet album. However, as for the music, you got, you know, the tremolo picked guitar riffs, you had the dissonant atmospheric riffs, you had like the droney, like sustained, long, drawn out riffs to give it that kind of depressing, ambient kind of feel, I guess is the word for it. The drumming is programmed. I'm not one to shy away from programming drums myself, since I don't ever have a live drummer and it is hard to find people, so I can't fault him for having programmed drums. They fit fine where he put them in. He programmed them well. They went with the guitaring and everything. The vocals are performed also fairly well. There's some delay, or well, maybe some delay, but I meant to say reverb. There's some reverb on that shit. It's very cavernous and echoey. The screams seem pretty consistent and performed like very similar throughout the whole album. So technically, I can't really say too much. I don't know how to explain it. It's technically good. The guitaring is fine. The way it was recorded in tightness and on time is good. The programmed drums were programmed good. They fit the music. His vocals were performed good. The only complaints I think I have about World of Lies by Unrest is that it was somehow recorded really, really quietly, or the program he used made it so you had to turn up the volume really loud on that. If I can't hear what's going on, it's going to be hard for me to judge. It wasn't like unhearable, it's just you really had to crank it up in order to hear it, but my hearing is also probably not the greatest. But so that was one thing I noticed. And then the other thing that kind of threw me off and made it kind of something that I had to endure, I think that's what it was. It was lacking in like energy. It was lacking in a bit of contrast in riffs. It was lacking in something to keep me interested for some reason. I found that it dragged on a lot. Maybe I was just not in the right mood to hear this. Today was kind of a giant stress ball and piss off for me. You'll see why later when I post that video, the struggles of becoming a published copywritten author. I think I'm going to call it something like that. But anyways, I don't think that completely set the tone for me, but it probably affected it a little bit. So that might be going into why I'm judging this so harshly, I guess you want to say. This would be a perfect album for those who like lo-fi, atmospheric, depressing black metal that is not going to get you in a better mood, that is not going to fill you full of energy. This is definitely for someone who really wants to feel down and moody and depressed and has that like drawn out, droning, atmospheric, dissonant black metal feel. So technically this is good. If I had to give this a fair rating out of 10, I'd have to give it like a 7 out of 10, just because there's technically nothing wrong with it. Once again, guitars, drums, vocals, all performed well. The only thing is the volume, the lack of experimentation or a lack of difference. Like this could have if you didn't tell me anything and there wasn't like obvious separations between the tracks, I would have thought this was all one big long song because of how little the riffs changed in comparison to each other. If you had this going on in the background, you probably wouldn't be hard missed to think it's all one song. So not much to say. I know this is Mike Ross's first project from what I heard him say and from what I remember. So for as first projects go, this was a decent effort and worth checking out. Once again, if you're into lo-fi, atmospheric, depressive, dissonant black metal. Once again, just be prepared to have to turn it the fuck up and be prepared to not have anything in here that pops out at you. It's all kind of the similar sounding vein. All right, moving on to his newer project, also atmospheric black metal, also lo-fi. This is Ordo Ab Chao, Pain and Piss. Love that title. That at least makes me kind of smile and grin. And the only thing I'm going to question here is the Ordo Ab Chao. The proper terminology is Ordo Ad Chao, order and chaos. So I'm not sure what's going on with the ab, the B in there. Perhaps there's another band called Ordo Ad Chaos there, or KO, therefore you're not able to call it that. So if it's a matter of another band having the same name, cool, I understand it, that's probably why. If not, then it's actually Ordo Ad Chaos or Ordo Ad KO. So there's that. I don't know if I showed the inside of this, probably didn't. So anyways, this is the CD. He's got a picture of himself there, just being quaint and lovingly embracing his guitar with a Triptykon shirt on, I think. Triptykon's good, nothing wrong with that. Just, I don't know, this picture kind of makes me laugh a bit. There's nothing inherently wrong with this picture. Like for a black metal picture, it's funny to me. It's probably a fine picture. I'm just being an idiot, but it's a little odd to me. Here's the inside here though, with the song titles, the credits and everything, and some contact information. So let's talk about this album now quickly. The production, it seems like, went up a little bit. The volume went up a little bit, so points there. The writing style did get a little better here as well. There's a slight bit of noticeable changes between songs. If you listen to this maybe a few times, you would probably be able to point out, oh, this is that song, this is this song, oh, this part happens in this song, as opposed to this album where you'd be hard pressed to be able to tell the difference between songs, minus maybe one or two little things here or there if you've listened to it a lot. This thing, this thing gives you a little bit more of a variety of things that'll pop out at you every now and then and be like, oh, that was interesting for a quick second. It's not all samey. It's not super dissonant and drony and depressing. Some of it is still has some elements from the Unrest project. There's not a super huge difference between the two. Once again, besides the loudness is a little bit better in this, like the volume is up, and the production seems to be a little bit more up. The drumming is a little bit more pronounced. The kick is a little bit more pronounced. The guitaring and riffs are a little bit easier to hear what's going on. The vocals are still performed just as well as they were on Unrest, maybe a little better. He's had time to hone them in and get his craft down. Once again, I think I gave this a 7 out of 10. This would be a 7.5 out of 10. So once again, technically, there is nothing wrong with this or bad about this. The problems that were apparent in Unrest is slightly still apparent in this, where it's slightly samey when it comes to the riffs, slightly samey in the delivery of the vocals. Like he likes to riff sing or drum beat sing. Like when a certain pattern of drum beat hits, he'll unleash the certain pattern of vocals, or when a certain riff hits, he'll go with the riff, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I do it, fucking Ozzy does it in Sabbath. Riff singing isn't a bad thing. Sometimes, though, the delivery can be a little robot-y or janky or slightly off-putting for whatever reason. He doesn't do it all the time in this, but there are a few times where the delivery of it and the timing of the way the vocals will come out is a little predictable and a little janky and robotic, and it's like, okay, you could have found a little bit more of an interesting way to deliver that line. And speaking of lines, the lyrics in some of these, from what I was able to catch, I don't know how to say this in a nice or polite manner. They're a little cringy. And I like, he seems like a nice guy. He seems like a really, you know, chill dude, and I appreciate that he's put the effort into this, and I can see that this is a project of passion, and that he does kind of like doing this stuff. And I've watched a couple of his videos, and he seems to be really into black metal and kind of, yeah, so it's not like he's just doing it for the fuck of it. He's not doing it because for shits and giggles or trying to jump on the hype train of black metal. It seems pretty genuine. So I don't like giving bad, or I definitely don't like giving bad people good news, but I don't like giving good people bad news even more. It's because I can hear the potential in this. I think that's what it is. I think I can hear the potential in this release in progression from Unrest, and it's like, oh man, I can see where you almost went with this at a certain part, and it would have been really, really cool, but it doesn't happen. And he is currently working on a new project, so hopefully the new project has a little bit more dichotomy and riffs. Like by the time you get to Broken Man, there is some slight variation in the riff structure and the delivery of not so traditional black metal riffing. He kind of breaks free from the dissonant riffs, from the tremolo riffs to the atmospheric-y riffs that kind of are like floaty clouds that kind of like have the song just kind of meander on. By the time you get to Broken Man, it is starting to slowly become a new beast. So with that being said, this, once again, it's a 7.5 out of 10. Technically nothing wrong or bad with it. I think it's just a matter of A, you have to be in a certain mood to listen to this stuff. B, you have to be a certain black metal subgenre fan. Like, you definitely want to be into atmospheric black metal. You definitely want to be into lo-fi black metal. You definitely want to be into dissonant and depressive black metal. Because once again, the way that these riffs are portrayed, the way the songs are structured, it is very drony and atmospheric and kind of like a downery type of music. Some people really like that though. I am currently in a thrash mode and just still going crazy with that. So I would prefer right now to listen to stuff that has a lot of energy, a lot of like riff salad and crazy stuff that really like get your head bobbing and full of energy. This and especially this does not have that. This is if you're like if you just fucking like lost your best friend, or if you just got dumped from by the hottest chick you've ever dated, or if you just lost your puppy, or if your grandma was supposed to give you like $1 million of inheritance, but it all had to go to taxes, you're going to want to listen to this stuff because that's just going to fuel the fire, and you're going to feel it's going to be there. That's going to be the emotion you're going to feel, you know? So, yeah, once again, check out these. I want to hear your guys' opinions on these because I feel like I'm shitting or, you know, pissing all over these. That's what I feel like it's coming across in this video, and I really don't want to do that once again because there's technically nothing wrong with it. All of the guitaring and drumming and vocals are performed well. They're executed well on a technical standpoint. Like they're in time. The drumming fits the guitars. The vocals, the screams are nice. They're not like someone who's never screamed before in their life recording their first screams and it sounds like a dying pig, but not in a good way, like from Slams. It's just like horrible, like that cringy emo compilation. It's nothing like that. These are well performed guitars, well programmed drums, well performed vocals. The thing that keeps it from being like a 9 or a 10 for me is just the lack of dichotomy in the riffs, a lack of experimentation, a lack of energy, a lack of anything that kind of breaks the songs apart and really says, hey, this is this track and it stands alone. Hey, this is this song and it stands alone because of this and this riff or progression. So once again, 7 and 7.5 out of 10. Please check these out and let me know what you think of them, because I would love to hear what someone else thinks of these things if they're available on YouTube or something. I'll try to track them down, at least a link to some of these via either, like I said, YouTube or Bandcamp or something. Go check out King of Swords channel. Anywho, I'm done. This video went on a lot longer than I was expecting. I thought it was gonna be like a 5-minute video, but apparently not, and apparently I've got a lot to say, so cool, I guess. So yeah, check out Unrest, check out Ordo Ab Chao, check out King of Swords. Thank you, Mike Ross, for sending these to me. I hope this video isn't too much of a downer for you, or too much of like a pissing on your parade, because that's definitely not what it was meant to be. You sent them to me to review and get my thoughts. These are my thoughts. I think it's mostly positive, and I think that any negative parts in this is mostly just helpful hints from a fellow black metal enthusiast, a fellow black metal artist from Canada. Hopefully you take that with a grain of salt and just kind of look at it as me trying to help, because that's all I'm trying to do here. And once again, I hate giving good people bad news just because it's very unsavory for my palate. Anywho, cheers. Hope you guys liked it. Go check out that shit, please, and let me know what you think of it, because I'm curious to hear what other people think of it, especially people who are really into that style. Yeah, and that's it. For Glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slimerella out. Out.